أشهد أن محمد رسول الله.
The jinns are able to take forms of different things, and as I mentioned, sorry, I should have related to a story about that sister who was possessed, and the jinn snakes. They came with the so they have animals within their kingdom as well, which are of the jinn. Sorry, I should have said that before. I do apologize. Right, sorry. One other thing before I forget, I will come to you, inshallah. Yeah, I mentioned earlier on about interacting or seeking the help of the jinn is haram. Yeah, do you remember? Some people say, well, Sulaiman alayhi salam, he interacted with the jinn, which is true, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions it in the Quran. But there was an incident during the time of our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He related this to his companions in the morning. He said, I was praying Qiyamul Layl, and Shaitan came to me with a brand of fire. He came to attack me, and I grabbed him by his throat and I pinned him against the pillar of the masjid. Yeah, and I grabbed him so tight that I could feel the cold and wetness of his tongue in my hand. So that's how tight he grabbed him. Imagine grabbing someone by the throat and you can feel their tongue. That's a tight grip, yeah? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he grabbed him, and he said that had it not been at that time that I remembered the dua of my brother Sulaiman alayhi salam, yeah, oh Allah, grant me a kingdom that you will not grant to any other after me. Yeah, if it wasn't for that dua, then I would have tied him to the pillar, and the children of Medina would have played with him today. So he let him go. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam let him go. Yeah. So if Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam didn't seize the moment, so to speak, yeah, for want of a better word, okay, who is I? Who is this brother here? Who are you to interact with the jinn now? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made certain things haram. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has made certain things haram, and interacting with the jinn like this is haram. We don't know. Do you remember that tafsir we mentioned where amongst the jinns that are Muslim, most of them are sinners, are hypocrites, yeah, are oppressors. Only a few of them, they number a very small number. They're a very small minority, yeah, who are believing jinns. And those believing jinns, they know Allah's laws. They will never transgress Allah's laws. Yeah, they will never transgress Allah's laws. Okay, so you can't, so when someone says, yeah, I've got believing jinn, how do you know there is a believing jinn? You can't see them. You understand, right? You can't see the jinn. How do you know it's a believing jinn? Yeah. See, in these situations, unfortunately, a lot of people from our community, they want to be made fools of. Yeah. They want to be, told something which is like out of the ordinary. Okay, when sometimes it's not. The only thing that's out of the ordinary is Allah's book. Allah's book is the thing that is out of the ordinary. Do you know what I mean? Not what someone tells you, who's working with the jinns. So it's haram. And sometimes, like I remember one sheikh, he told us many years ago, he said, like, you might be reciting, and I think Allah knows best if he was referring to himself or someone else, but he said, like, jinns can come to you and say, we like what you're doing, we want to help you. Yeah? If you're ever in that position, say, you do what you want to do, I'm free of you. I ask Allah for help only. You don't ask anyone for help. Sometimes you see the mesab who works with the jinn, they'll say, yes, I will recite Qul Huwa Allah 3 times, and the jinn comes. Yeah, that in itself is shirk. Because when you recite Quran, it's for Allah, not for the jinn. Yeah, so we miss those key elements at those times. Very, very important, brothers. If ever you go to someone who does ruqya and they ask you for your mother's name, your date of birth, stuff like that, this one is working with the jinns, is working with the shaitan, stay away from them. If anyone asks you for money so they can offer a sacrifice on your behalf, stay away from them. Yeah, you do your own sacrifice. If you want to ransom, you do it yourself. Yeah, send the money back home yourself. It's got to be a particular color, it's got to be a particular shape. Stay away from these people. They're no good. They won't be of any benefit for you. There's people that will ask for your name, your date of birth, and they'll say, okay, I'll pray istikhara tonight, and I'll tell you in a couple of days what's wrong with you. Stay away from that person. They've hijacked the terminology istikhara. The word istikhara means to seek the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in making a decision. Okay? So how can that word, even if you look at the dua of istikhara, the meaning of the dua, you're asking Allah to help you, okay, come to a decision with regards to a particular thing. It could be marriage, it could be buying a house, it could be a new job, it could be moving country, it could be, should I go Hajj this year? You know, it could be all sorts of things. If this is good for me, then make it easy for me and make me easy for it. Yeah? If it is harmful for me, I'm just paraphrasing here, yeah? Then take it away from me and take me away from it and bless me with something better. You know? That's the essence of... So how on earth does that dua translate to this person finding out what's wrong with you or your family member? The word has been hijacked, basically. It's been abused. Sorry, you were going to ask?
I was going to ask, why are jinns so effective when you step into their shadow?
Okay. I guess if someone, if someone barged into you on the road, yeah, you're gonna take that, you're a young man, right? You're hot-blooded. You ain't gonna tolerate that. Does that make sense? Jinns are even less tolerant than that. Yeah. One of the reasons, sorry, I forgot to mention why jinns affect people is out of mischief, because they're shaitan. Most people here probably won't know, or they probably will know, because obviously in a different context, when we were younger, we'd have problems with white boys, okay? They didn't like the colour of our skin. But nowadays, you'll have a problem if you're in the wrong postcode, because you're in the wrong postcode. It's mischief. Does that make sense? No other reason, just mischief, basically, with the shaitan. Yeah. Does that answer your question? Yeah.
Good question. They call mubadaralism.
Yeah.
You sleep at night.
That's in your sleep, yeah.
Is that a jinn?
Yeah, it is. So
What does it do sometimes?
recite A'udhu Billah, recite Ayatul Kursi will go. You might find it difficult reciting initially, but you persevere, and by the time you start reciting or by the time you finish, it will have gone.
It pins you down.
Yeah, but recite, you'll be able to do it. Initially you're going to find it hard, but if you make wudu before you go to sleep, it'll be harder for it to do that.
Does that mean you're possessed, or does it mean...
No.
What does it do?
Allah knows best.
Can we take Brother Oli at the back?
So I was going to ask, there's a lot of people who suffer from mental health problems.
Yeah.
Is Ruqya like sort of the understanding factor between mental health and possession?
Yeah, Ruqya can distinguish between the two. However, when someone is on medication, it's quite hard to distinguish between the two. So, you see, something with regards to Ruqya, which I didn't mention earlier on, there's treatment is of two forms. Yeah, one is Shari'i, and one is I forget the terminology. I will explain it though, inshallah. So Shari'i is from the Quran and the Sunnah. Yeah, the first is from the Quran, you're reciting, and the du'as from the Sunnah, you're reciting. Yeah, reading them. Okay. The other one, Qadari, is Qadari Ruqya, yeah, treatment. So that is of what's available to us. So that could be herbal medication, that could be conventional medication. Yeah, it could be honey, it could be senna leaves, it could be zamzam water, it could all sorts of things. Yeah, it could be antibiotics, it could be antidepressant tablets, it could be many things. It could be anti-cancer drugs, for example. Yeah, just because someone is suffering medically doesn't mean that you should only use medication. Yeah, you should and could recite Quran over them. At the very least, they'll get some relief. وَنُنَزِّلُ مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ مَا هُوَ شِفَاءٌ وَرَحْمَةٌ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ. Yeah, we have revealed in this Quran, in it there is a healing and a mercy for the believer. Yeah, so at the very least you'll have mercy, shantiyata faiba, yeah, some relief, and the person who's reciting will get reward for reciting. Yeah, and beyond that there's loads in terms of recovery as well, because whether it's qadari, medication, conventional stuff, or shari'i, Quran and Sunnah, yeah, okay, the shifa is from Allah. Yeah, both, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given the individual the intellect to be able to research and develop medication. Yeah, so it's something really important, brothers. If ever anyone's suffering from any kind of like medical condition, don't abandon medication, yeah, because you don't know which way Allah will give you the shifa. Okay, utilize both. There's no harm in that. No harm in that at all. Same way, if someone's affected by jinn or magic, etc., right? They may suffer from aches and pains. They might feel sick, etc. You can take medication for that as well, no problem. As well as the Quran and the Sunnah, you can take medication. It's fine, no problem at all. It shouldn't be one at the expense of the other. Does that make sense? Yeah. Sorry.
Other questions. Can you briefly explain how jinns can affect you with the music and maybe pictures in the house?
Okay.
And second
Yes.
question is, I forgot now.
Okay, sure. So, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that music is the adhan of the shaitan. You know, it's the adhan of the shaitan, music. You know, if we listen to the music, if we analyze the words, what are they talking about? It's violence, drugs, and women. Yeah, and all in the derogatory sense. There's no honor in any of these. There's no honor. The language they use, right? The descriptions they use, right? There's no honor. There's no dignity. You understand? And this is a way of shaitan penetrating you. So, you know, we mentioned about how to protect yourself, being in wudu, right? Making sure you're praying 5 times a day. You're not doing anything haram, blah, 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 right? The opposite of that will attract the shaitan. Yeah, so being dirty, yeah, not being clean, okay, being in a state of filth, all right, committing haram, yeah, neglecting all your fara'id, okay, indulging in sin day in, day out. You're a target, you're open. It's like your front door is open, the light's on, and there's sign posting showing where the safe is, the laptop is, the gold is, the cash is in your house. Does that make sense? That's how it is. You're open like that for the shaitan. You know, our sisters who don't wear the hijab, they're open to abuse by the shaitan. You know, the sister who's not in hijab may be able to tell someone where to go in their best French if a young man comes and tries to chat them up, but there's no way they can stop a jinn because they can't see it. Yeah? Does that make sense? You know, so it's really important, hijab, you know, for brothers, you know, who are old enough to grow a beard, to grow that beard. Because that's our hijab, that's our protection. Do you know what I mean? Be clean, you know, be clean. Pictures, yes. So Rasulullah SAW said that the angels of mercy will not enter a home that has pictures and statues in them. So if you want angels of mercy to enter your home, yeah, then remove the pictures. You don't need portraits of your family members, you know, hanging on the walls. And statues as well.
I just remembered. Can you briefly outline some of the key or some of the symptoms of being a victim of one of those 4 you mentioned, Sahir?
I've mentioned some of them already, haven't I? So it could be someone who's spending a lot of time in the toilets. It could be they're not very clean. It could be their behavior, what they're saying, how they're behaving, how they're saying things, okay, how they are towards their parents or family members. Okay, it could be they're very sad. It could be they're very angry. It could be they're very hyper, which is abnormal to their. I mean, obviously there are people with, you know, ADHD, etc. Putting those, you know, to one side. I'm talking about a person who, under normal circumstances, wouldn't be like that, who starts displaying these kind of symptoms. They could be violent where they weren't violent before. You know, someone who's very good at education, suddenly their health deteriorates, or their achievements in school or college or university, you know, drops significantly, very rapidly. You know, someone who's working, you know, they can't progress in life. Okay, there's things between husband and wife issues. Okay, there's many different symptoms that someone can have.
How are they supposed to help themselves if they're in that state?
Okay, so again, it's going back to the things that we said with regards to reciting Quran, doing adhkar with the intention.
No, but what I'm saying is,
Okay.
this person is feeling low, feeling
Yeah.
depressed, and he's not going to want to help himself because he's
Yeah.
in that state.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
how
So
do they help?
what normally happens in those cases is family members will notice. Yeah, they will be the first port of call in trying to support them. Most of the times they don't succeed. Yeah, because the person who's depressed, lonely, doesn't want to know. Yeah, doesn't engage. Okay, then they normally ask for help. Okay, then someone who does ruqya would go and see them, and they would. But again, the person who's the ruqya has been done upon, unless they're possessed, like, you know, that example I gave of that sister who was possessed by the jinn from the wedding, yeah. Unless they're in that situation, right, you should always ask their permission. Are you okay if I do ruqya on you? And they should be a willing participant. Because if they're a willing participant in taking part in the ruqya, okay, then the process of getting better becomes that bit easier. Do you know what I mean? There have been cases where someone's refused, and you can't force ruqya on them. Do you know what I mean? You can only make dua for them. The family have to be more patient. Yeah, when one person suffers in the family, the whole family suffers. Does that make sense? Yeah, in the sense that they're worried, they're trying to support and find a way out of this. But remember, there is a risk, and it's individuals have to make that decision themselves. That's where sincerity comes in. Yeah, you have to be sincere for the sake of Allah, and wherever Allah has willed, there's nothing that can change it from happening. Does that make sense? So, it doesn't mean that you be foolish. Yeah, the sunnah is always you shouldn't look forward to meeting your enemy, but if you're confronted by your enemy, then you don't show them your back. Do you know what I mean? That's a sunnah. So may Allah make us of those. Yeah, it's a.
I'm not scared of it.
No, I understand the risk. Yeah,
because the fact that you might come and affect my family.
Allah doesn't burden a soul more than it can bear. Yeah, so it's not for everyone. You put your trust in Allah. You won't know if that jinn is deaf, etc. Yeah, you put your trust in Allah and you recite. So you won't communicate with them, will you? Does that make sense? You recite. But there has been an incident where we dealt with where the jinn wrote on paper, basically. Do you know what I mean? But that was, you see, if you go into the field of ruqya or any other field, all right, you're always going to be learning something new. Okay, you will sit with people of knowledge and you will benefit from their knowledge and wisdom. And alhamdulillah, we sat with different people. Yeah, and one of the shuyukh, rahimahullah, passed away a few years ago. He made it very simple for us. Yeah, he said that we mentioned before about physically beating someone. Yeah, okay, there's no benefit in that, right? What harms the jinn is Quran. So when you're reciting, yeah, that's what affects the jinn. Okay, when you stop reciting, okay, and say for example, it's had a beating, like metaphorically, yeah, not physical beating, Quranic beating, right? The minute you stop reciting, yeah, it will start to gather its strength again. Yeah, it's like if you watch a boxing match, round 1, 3-minute round, yeah, then they go back. They got 1 minute to recuperate in it. They're getting massage and gum chilled out, sipping water or whatever. They get that breath back. Yeah, that's what's happening when you stop reciting and when you start talking to them. Jinns lie. Okay, you don't know if they're speaking the truth or not. Do you understand? It's very hard to determine if they're telling the truth or not. Okay, so there's no benefit in it. Does that make sense? Right? There is a time to communicate with them, but it's not always. Yeah? Do you know what I mean? So it's reciting, basically reciting. And Allah will help you. You always have that in your mind and your heart that Allah will help you. You're helping someone for the sake of Allah, Allah will help you. Do you know what I mean? You just recite, basically. Alright. So the first question, and that's something, we're talking about the power, the ability, capacity, capabilities of jinns. As I said, they can fly, they can do all sorts of things, yeah? Okay? But if you say Bismillah and you close the window, Bismillah and you close the door, you say Bismillah and you cover your drink, like I said, Bismillah, cover that drink, they can't do anything. Yeah? They can't do anything. So the key is Bismillah and believe in it. Yeah? You understand? So if you say Bismillah, you close the window with that intention, they won't be able to enter. If you say Bismillahi walajna wa Bismillahi kharajna wa ala Allahi rabbina tawakkalna, in the name of Allah we enter, in the name of Allah we exit, and upon our Lord we put our trust and we enter the house. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. The jinn that was outside with us won't be able to enter the house. If it's in, then Surah Baqarah, Rasulullah said, if you recite Surah Baqarah in your house every 3 days, it expels all the shayateen.
You have to recite yourself, or can you play?
It's best to recite yourself. Yeah? Most effective to recite yourself, even with your mistakes. Yeah? Do you know what I mean? Because you're reciting for every action is based on its intention. Yeah? So you can go on YouTube and find your favorite reciter. Who's your favorite reciter, by the way? Okay, whoever it may be, you might fancy this particular sheikh. You put his tilawah on, it's all good. He might have been reciting in the studio. He might have been reciting in a salah. It might be for Taraweeh. Yeah, all you're doing is just benefiting from. Yeah. Whereas when you're going to recite Surah Al-Baqarah, you're going to have that hadith in your mind that if I recite this, a shaitan will be expelled from my house. Big difference. Even though you might not be able to recite half as good as him. Yeah, the Qari on YouTube or wherever it may be. Does that make sense? So it's sincerity and it's intention. You know. Okay, sorry. The second question was about depression when someone's lonely and whatnot.
Yeah.
Whether a jinn feels lonely and they seek the company of humans, Allah knows best. I don't know. But if someone is feeling depressed and sad and lonely, yes, there is an opening for the shaitan too. Because especially if they're neglectful of their obligations, you can be sad and lonely, but you don't neglect your obligations. Yeah, to Allah. Okay, right. But if you neglect your obligations, your guard's down. Yeah. When you have your guard down, basically, the shaitan, you know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in Surah An-Nas, yeah, says, min sharril waswasil khannas, yeah, you know, you're seeking refuge in Allah, yeah, قل أعوذ برب بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس, yeah, right, you seeking refuge in Allah, right, with some of His attributes, yeah, min sharril waswasil khannas, from the evil of the whisperer who whispers and withdraws. That's what shaitan does. On the day of judgment, when those people are in hellfire, they'll say, it was you are the one who made us do this. Iblis will say, I didn't make you do it, I just tempted you and you did it. Some of the things that you did, I disbelieved in you. Yeah, don't blame me today, right? You understand? So, you know, like some of us, we might have a problem with food. Yeah, we like a particular type of food which isn't good for us. Yeah, all right, that's it. I'm going raw now. I'm not going to have that anymore. Yeah. All right, did I mean? A couple of weeks go by, it's fine. Then one day we're walking past that shop and that smell gets us, yeah? Oh man, it's been a while. But you know what? No man, I'm committed, I'm not going to have it. Yeah? You walk on. The next day, that smell again, right? But you walk on, you ignore it, you deal with it, you walk on, right? A few days later, you walk past it and that smell's there and it's bothering you now, yeah? It smells nicer now. Yeah? Right? Within 2-3 weeks, some people might be weak. I mean, maybe within 2-3 days. Yeah, you're in that shop. You've got that, wherever it may be, right? So shaitan works slowly. So min sharril waswasil khannas. Yeah, we're asking Allah for protection from the whispering the whisperer that whispers and withdraws. Whispers and withdraws. It's only a momentary thought that we'll get, and then it's like some people who used to smoke. Yeah, do you know what I mean? When they stop smoking, right, once they've had their meal, they feel like having a fag. They'll think about it. You know, man, I could do with a cigarette. Yeah? But if they avoid it, if they avoid the company, etc., they'll stay away from it. Yeah? But the minute they start mixing with people that smoke after their meal, yeah, eventually over time, yeah, they'll spark up. That's the way it works. Over time. Shaitan works over time. Shaitan, you know, knows us psychologically better than we know ourselves. You know, it's been around before us. It's been around since before Adam alayhi salam, you know, our forefather. Do you know what I mean? So that's why we seek refuge. Directly from the Sunnah, in terms of you do this, there's not really much there. Okay? There's some du'as. You recite this 3 times, this 7 times, this 100 times, this 10 times, this once, etc. Recite these in the morning, recite these in the evening. We know that Surah Fatiha can be used for ruqya, okay? Because that companion recited. Remember I said about that incident? Oops, sorry. Okay, we know the whole Quran is shifa, yeah. وَنُنَزِّلُ مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ مَا هُوَ شِفَاءٌ وَرَحْمَةٌ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ. Yeah, Allah says that in the Quran. Allah says in another verse, قُلْ هُوَ لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا هُدًى وَشِفَاءٌ. Say in it, right, there is, for those who believe, that's the criteria, yeah, right, is guidance and healing. Yeah, so you can recite the whole Quran cover to cover, no problem. And Rasulullah specifically said about Falaq al-Nas, Qul a'udhu bi rabbil falaq, Qul a'udhu bi rabbin nas. Yeah, I mean, he specifically said about this because Allah revealed them, yeah, for that purpose. Yeah, so you can read those. Even if you read those, it's enough. Does that make sense? But it's your yaqeen. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't burden yourself to recite the whole Quran because Surah Baqarah, yes, Rasulullah said if you recite Surah Baqarah in the house every 3 days, yeah. Do you know what I mean? And then the other things, There's like, you can buy various books, right? It's got different ayats, different surah, etc. It's through scholars that have recited that they have understanding of the verses of the Quran, and they've married those up with certain things. You know, like, for example, when you want to punish the Quran, there's verses about how Allah will punish the, you know, disbeliever, etc. You know, the magnitude of Allah. All these is affect the shaitan, you know. But then, how did Surah Fatiha? What is the meaning of Surah Fatiha? Yeah, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. With the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most gracious. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. All praises to Allah, the Lord of the worlds. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. The most merciful, the most gracious. Maliki Yawmiddin. The owner of the Day of Judgment. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'een. You alone do we worship, and you alone do we seek help from. Ihdina as-sirata al-mustaqim. Guide us to the straight path. Sirata alladhina an'amta alayhim. The path of those whom you have favored. Ghayril maghdubi alayhim. Not the path of those whom have earned your anger. Waladdallin. And nor of those who have gone astray. Ameen. Yeah? Where in those verses I've recited does Allah say that Allah will relieve someone who's been bitten by or stung by a scorpion? Can anyone tell me? No. How on earth did those verses, which are completely unrelated to someone who's been stung by a scorpion, help cure this man? Only Allah knows.
How long they live?
It varies. You know, it varies. It's like humans, you know, before, you know, Adam, alayhi salam, you know, with Nuh alayhi salam, you know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that he invited people to Allah for 1,000 years minus 50. So 950 years he gave da'wah. So Allah knows how long he actually lived for, yeah? So jinns, you know, Iblis is still around, yeah? He was created before Adam alayhi salam. So there are jinns that, you know, have lived for a long time, and there are jinns that haven't lived for that long. And there are jinns that have passed away, and there are jinns that have, you know, like have been, who are born, like maybe being born now. Allah knows best. We all have room for improvement, yeah? And we will always make mistakes. That's guaranteed. We will always make mistakes, because that's the way Allah created us. You know, if you see, you know, you can have the strictest of guidelines and procedures to perform brain surgery, yeah? But if you look throughout history, even if in the last 5 years, you will see there's been fatalities in those, because someone made a mistake somewhere, yeah? Human error, they call it, yeah? There are guidelines in place, there are fail-safes in place, but still someone makes a mistake, yeah? That's human nature. We will always make mistakes. Okay, interpretation of the dreams, that could mean a whole number of things. I'm not qualified to interpret dreams. Okay, they can do, yeah. Jinns can affect you in your dreams. You can be, you know, one of the ways you can be affected by magic is you can be fed in your dream. You can be fed in your dream, yeah. So that's one way you can be affected, yeah. So many different ways, yeah. Braying of a donkey.
If you see a brain.
Braying, you know, donkey, you know, a horse neighs, yeah? A dog barks, a donkey brays, yeah? So, yeah, so if you see a donkey bray, if you hear a donkey bray, they've seen the shaitan. That's the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. You know, so Allah knows best, you know. Yeah. Those things won't strengthen our iman, yeah? Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of things that it's normal to think like this, but we have to think about, will it strengthen our iman or not? Do you know what I mean? You know, does that make sense?
Any more questions?
One last thing, sorry, and I forgot to mention this before, is ta'weed, yeah? This is something that we should shun, we should destroy. If any of our family members have it, we should take them out, be in wudu, recite Qul huwallahu falaq an-nas, blow over it, and throw it in the river. Okay? Do not use any form of ta'weez. People say that, you know, this will help me from this problem and that problem, etc. It's only got Quranic verses. All right? Remember we said about the power of the Quran? Yeah, how if Allah revealed it on the mountain would crumble to dust out of the fear of Allah. Why don't you have the whole Quran and carry it around with you, rather than a few verses written on a bit of paper where you paid someone to do it and then you put it on? You know what? Do you know what I mean? You know, so it's a nonsense. It's a bit like, you know, if you suffer from asthma, you go to the doctor and the doctor gives you a prescription with an inhaler. Yeah, it's got the name of the inhaler on it. If you wrap that up and put it in a tin foil and put it around your chest, would that help your asthma? Why not? It's got the name of the drug. Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. So, you know, like we have to think about it on those kind of ways. Yeah, do you know what I mean? It's not going to help. We have to go to the pharmacist. They will dispense the pump, and it will tell us exactly how many puffs we should take, how many times a day. Do you know what I mean? That's what will help us. Yeah, and we always believe in Allah. Yeah, we always put our trust in Allah when we use it. So the same way, the Quran carrying around with us, Allah describes like the donkey carrying a heavy load. It's not benefiting from the heavy load. Do you know what I mean? So just carrying the Quran, you have to live the Quran, you have to practice it, you have to believe in it. Do you know what I mean? May Allah give us all. Do you know what I mean? There's a person that was affected. Their whole room is full of filth. And when I say filth, I just want you to think about what the word filth means. Picture it in your head, and that's exactly what it was in his room. And he said he feels comfortable in that. Do you know what I mean? Because he's been so affected by this, you know, it messes, you know, lives up, messes people's homes up.
أم حسبتم أن تتركوا ولما يعلم الله الذين جاهدوا منكم أم حسبتم أن تتركوا ولما يعلم الله الذين جاهدوا منكم ولم يتخذوا من دون الله أم حسبتم أن تتركوا ولما